Hello, I'm Arthur Sleep, and here's the news. You're watching Sean's World, so put your feet up, have a nice cup of tea while you're at it. Taurine? How many sugars did you put in? 5? I asked for 2. Enjoy the programme. It was a special holiday in Sean's world, and everyone was excited. The edges were going to be decorated. I'll wear some flags and streamers. I'm going to wear a big red banner. What will you dress up in, Wilson? I'd like to wear blue bunting all around. Honking horns, you'll look train-tastic. What about you, Gordon? Nothing too extravagant, my dear Brewster. I'm keeping my paint just as bright as James's. Maybe even brighter. I heard that! The ponies in Equestria were especially excited. They were going to go all around Sean's world and meet all their friends. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Yep, I'm glad to see we're all here. Oh, this is gonna look fab on my blogs. I'm glad we're gonna explore Sean's world and remind ourselves of the good times. You said it, Flutters! I agree. Well, I, for one, don't. Out of a single house surrounded by greenery stepped Posey Bloom, Equestria's resident killjoy. Twilight groaned. She remembered when she was chasing down a crow that had snatched Pip's phone and ended up dropping it on Posey's flowers, causing Twilight to accidentally damage them. And Posey had not forgiven her since. Come on, Posey, it was one time. If that crow hadn't grabbed Pip's phone. That's not what I meant. What I meant was that I do not see the joy you silly ponies take in exploring anywhere other than Equestria. Rainbow Dash snarled at Posey. She remembered when she and Zip helped Roy the racing car train for a race against Coco a few weeks ago. Pinky, Izzy, and Sunny were also pretty upset. When the new pony Puzzle Love came to Sean's world, they wanted to give her a warm welcome. But despite being offended by Posey's remark, Twilight didn't get angry. She simply took a deep breath, narrowed her eyes, and stared directly at the yellow, pink-haired pony. That wasn't Fluttershy. Would you mind repeating that, Posey? She said through gritted teeth. You heard me. You're all silly. Why would anyone want to explore beyond Equestria? Haven't you? No, because I like it here. Clearly, you need to meet my friends. So despite Posey's protests, Twilight, Sunny, and their friends simply guided her to Silverhatch to meet Roy the racing car and his friends. Welcome to Silverhatch, Posey. I'm Mr. Cabaretto, the owner of everything you see here. Lose the accent, sir! Mr. Carburetor's face got red hot as Twilight showed Posey the race cars. And this is Big Chris, the mechanic at Silverhatch. Yep, I'm proud of me work, and I'm proud of me cars, especially that one, said Big Chris, pointing at Rory, before Posey interrupted. Their numbers are completely out of order. Say what? That red car is number 1, that pink is 3, yellow is 5, Orange is 6 and blue is 88. You clearly need to relearn your numbers. Oi, don't go talking to me cars like that. Then change their numbers, demanded Posey, pointing to Drifter and Tin Top. Now hold on just a minute, Posey. Wait, Tin Top. I'll reason with her. No point, Drifter. This pony will not understand. Twilight was starting to feel overwhelmed. Now, Posey, with all due respect, the way these cars are numbered is not your concern, and if you don't like it, you can leave. Fine! I never wanted to be here anyway! As Posey stormed out, Mr. Carburetor stormed in, looking just as angry as ever. That Posey, she drives me up at the ceiling. Big Chris, make sure she never comes into this workshop again. Right you are, Mr. Carburetor, sir. I'm so sorry about that, Big Chris. It's alright, Twilight. Some characters just never learn. Twilight walked out of Silverhatch feeling very sad. The ponies decided that next, Posey should see the Rubbadubbers. She complained all the way. Eventually, they got to the coast of Balamory, and Posey certainly had something to say about the colored houses. But I can tell you now, it wasn't something nice. Gah! Do all these houses have to be so colorful? Sure they do. Me and Izzy love to see colors pop out, especially on houses. Swear, man! We've got a new friend, Rubbadubbers. Splish, splash, splosh. I can't wait to meet her. The mighty shark. Arr, arr, arr. Can't wait either. Posey turned around and saw how small the Rubbadubbers were. And just who are these little squirts? We're not little squirrels, madam. We're the Rubbadubbers. Rub-a-dubbers? Looking for bath time, are you? We're not just bath toys, Miss Posey. We can do lots of tricks. Look, I can blow bubbles. Watch. As Terrence blew some bubbles, Amelia demonstrated one of her favorite introduction tricks. Knocks them out every time. We come in Pete, we come in Pete, we come in, we mean no harm. Well, you've had some harm done. Listen to yourself stutter. I can't help it. It's not something I can control. I'm done with these pipsqueaks. Let's meet some proper-sized characters. Oh, all right. Be like that. As the Rubbadubbers jumped into the sea, the ponies made their way to Balamory Station to catch Thomas. Some of the ponies decided to explore the rest of Balamory, as Twilight would continue to guide Posey. They had also taken Thomas from Silverhatch to Balamory. He was a few minutes late last time because of a detour, and now he was a few minutes late because he was getting redecorated for the special holiday in 2 days' time. Do you trains even have a timetable? As a matter of fact, we do. There are just some things. Then stick to it! We're trying! Thomas blew his whistle aggressively and left Balamory Station for Penguinsburg. On the way, they passed Colorland, where Mr. Plod made sure all the colors were in the right places. You look splendid today, Thomas. Thanks, officer. What's going on? Someone must have pulled the emergency cable. It's someone in me. I do hope everything's okay. As Posey stood smugly next to the emergency cable, the guard flew one of Annie's doors open. Who in the blazes applied that emergency cable? She did it, called Twilight proudly, pointing directly at Posey. If you don't mind, I'd like to file a complaint. You. In case you didn't know, that cable is for emergency purposes only. This is an emergency. This whole railway is simply terrible. The trains are always late. They never go at the right speed. Listen here, young lady. You will not stop a train in future just to complain. Understood? No need. I'm gonna have this railway scrapped. I'll be walls. Shut up, Posey. What in the name of Celestia are you doing? Honestly, what cheek! Such rude behaviour. Everything all right, Thomas? Oh, Murdoch, I didn't expect to see you here. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing out here either. Ahem. I mean, I'm taking passengers to Balamory. What's wrong? It's Posey Bloom. She's threatening to have us scrapped because she hates us. Oh, come on. Talk about petty. Trucks will fly before we get scrapped. An empty truck crash-landed next to Murdoch. Gordon had forced it out of the way when Duck had stopped due to some faulty points. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention this place is dangerous? What are you mumbling about? Grumbled Murdoch, thinking no one could hear. I better go, or she'll start up again. I won't stop you, Thomas. Once Posey had visited Penguinsburg and ranted again, could not understand Penguinese. She waited impatiently for Murdoch. This time she was on her own. Twilight couldn't bear her constant complaining anymore. Murdoch would be filling in for Thomas's journey this time because Thomas was helping Wilson up Gordon's Hill. Murdoch had other work to do, so he was a few minutes later when picking up Posey. I was right! None of these engines can stick to a timetable. Yeah? Well, I'm here now. What difference does it make? If Thomas is not on time for his next trip, I will have you all scrapped for sure. Murdoch arrived at Pontypandy Station, relieved not to have to listen to Posey for the rest of the day. Later, Murdoch explained to Thomas that Posey was not changing her mind about scrapping them, and Thomas was not going to let that happen. Not today. When he was coupled back up to Annie and Clarabelle, he sped off to Pontypandy to pick up Posey. You want me to be on time? Here, I'll go super fast so you won't be late. When he passed Colourland again, Mr. Plod saw Thomas going way faster than he probably should. Thomas, slow down in the name of Plod. But Thomas went by so fast, he couldn't hear what Mr. Plod said. Besides, it probably was pretty hard for him to slow down at that point. It's almost over, Thomas murmured to himself. And it soon was. You had gone so fast. He approached a difficult bend too quickly. He derailed and went straight into a field, only getting stopped by a tree. Hey, Posey! Is this what you wanted? Me to go so fast I could hurt myself, and more importantly, my passengers? But Posey didn't reply. She was trying to find her way out of Clarabelle. When she got out, she saw Mr. Plod looking especially angry. What have I done now? You have the right to remain silent. The next day, one day before the big holiday, the best legal eagles in Seán's world came together in Lazytown's town hall to determine Posey's fate. Twilight and Posey were separate parties, and Applejack and Courtney were their respective lawyers, whereas Mr. Plod was their judge. Courtney spoke first. Your Honor, my client is entitled to an opinion. This whole case shouldn't even happen. Sure, she made Thomas derail and she hurt some people's feelings, but that's all she did. It's still rather inconsiderate of her to say such things in public rather than keep them to herself or reword them to be more polite. What do you have to say about this, Applejack? Well, Your Honor, let me tell y'all what I really think when I speak for Twilight here. Go on. Posey has done things that were uncalled for, insulting us to our faces, heckling Mr. Carburetor and Big Chris, threatening to scrap the railway system of Seán's world, nearly stepping on the rubber numbers, and mocking Pig over his Penguinese. Courtney walked over to their first witness, Thomas D. Cat. How do you think Posey should be treated? It appears that Tom can't talk. We'll just have to move on to our next witness. Their next witness happened to be Bob the Builder. Do you know this Pony Bob? Yes, I do. She made poor Lofty feel bad for simply not being as confident as Scoop. And how is this supposed to convince me that Posey is a bad pony? Start talking nicely about her, or... Courtney's sentence was cut off by Applejack slamming her hooves on the desk. Objection! She's manipulated the witness! Sustained. Courtney, we spoke about this. Once the session lasted about an hour, the jury had made a decision. We have heard enough. Your Honor, we find Posey to be guilty of bullying innocent characters. Twilight Sparkle has the most reliable lawyer on her side, and we could see right through Posey's protests. Then it's settled. This court concludes in favor of Twilight Sparkle. One more question, Mr. Plot. What will happen to Posey? Leave it to me, Twilight. When most of the court attendees had gone home, Mr. Plot made Posey stay behind to face her punishment. Posey, I'm banishing you to the Shadow Realm. What? You can't do this to me! When I get my hooves on you, Much better. Thomas saw all of this and excitedly rushed back to the shed to tell his fellow engines and trainees what happened. Wilson, Brewster, and Coco jumped with happiness. If you don't mind, Thomas, I have 4 words to say to Posey. And what are they, Murdoch? And don't come back! You are so right, Murdoch. And all the engines cheered. Now they could have the special holiday in peace and not have to suffer through the problem with Posey.